time, there was a little girl whose name was Ariana. And Ariana loved stories. She loved it when her mommy and daddy would tell her bedtime stories. She loved reading books. She loved watching movies. She loved stories of all sorts. And her favorite stories all had to do with magic. Her mommy and daddy would tell her stories about magic shoes, or a magic hairbrush, or magic puddles, or magic trees. And she thought they were all so interesting. And so one day she told her daddy, "Daddy, I want some magic." And her dad laughed and said, "Oh, Ariana, magic's not real. It's just something that's fun to think about and pretend and hear stories. But really, there's no such thing as magic." "Yes, there is," she said. "I know there is. I know there is because you tell me all these stories about magic." "No, Ariana," said her dad, "magic really isn't real. It's just for fun. Sometimes things seem like magic, but there's really science or something else that explains them." Said Ariana. "I don't believe you." "Well, you can believe what you want," said her dad. "But I don't have any magic I can give you." So Ariana was sad for a while, but every night she got another bedtime story and loved them all. Then one day, she and her family went on vacation to visit some friends in Louisiana. And while they were driving down the street, they saw lots of restaurants and stores of all types, and all of a sudden there was a sign that said, "Magic Store." "Daddy, Daddy," said Ariana, "look, it's a magic store." "Oh, Ariana," said her dad, "I don't think that's the type of store you're thinking of." "Yes," she said, "it is. It says magic store. I want to go buy some magic." "I don't think they sell magic there," said her dad. "I think they sell magic tricks, which are little things that people do that look like magic, but they're really tricks." "I think it's real magic," she said. "Can we please go?" So her dad relented, and they went into the store. And in the store, there were all sorts of magic tricks. There were special decks of cards, and there were cups and balls, and there were magic wands and hats and all sorts of things for doing magic shows. Behind the counter was an old woman who said, "Welcome to the magic store. What can I get you today?" And Ariana looked around and said shyly, "I want to buy some magic." "You would like to buy magic?" said the old lady. "We don't sell plain old magic. We sell magic tricks." "See," said her daddy, "I told you. There's no such thing as magic." And Ariana was sad. And the old lady said, "Let me see what I can do for you." So she walked into the back of the store while Ariana looked around at the stuffed rabbits and doves and boxes and things that were in the store. And the old lady walked out from behind the curtain and gestured for Ariana to go over to her. Ariana did, and the old lady pulled out a small little bag full of black powder and said, "Here, little girl, this is magic. Take it home. Use it carefully." So Ariana took it home, and that night before she went to bed, she sprinkled some on her shoes. And the next morning when she woke up, she put on her shoes and she could fly, and all day long she flew around in her magic shoes until the end of the day her magic wore off. So she sprinkled a little bit on her hairbrush. And the next day she woke up and everything she brushed with her hair turned to gold. So she went and bought wool and brushed it all into gold. And she made herself have golden hair. And her stuffed animals were turned to gold. And the next day, she was almost out of magic. So she sprinkled a little bit on her apple. And as she did so, and then she went to sleep. The next morning when she woke up, she ate the apple and it tasted so delicious. And all day long, she had the ability to walk on walls. And that night before she went to bed, she planted her seeds, or she planted the seeds from the apples in the backyard. Now, normally, an apple tree takes years and years to get to full height and produce fruit. But because these seeds were magic, there was a full tree in her backyard the next morning, full of delicious green, red, and yellow apples. And whenever you ate them, it made you feel so happy because they were the most delicious apples in the world. And sometimes, if you got lucky, they were magic. The end.